Do you give up easily when things don't work out like you want the first time? I found that people can stick to a task by remembering they're not always going to win or achieve it the first or even the second or the third time they try it. In this video, I'll give you some examples of how to remain focused on the task at hand. Hi, I'm Renaud. I'm a professional certified coach. I'd like to share with you some of the lessons I have learned from observing leaders and teams that can help improve your performance and become a better version of who you are. But back to those examples I promised. Naoki Higashida is a young contemporary Japanese author who before his 25th birthday had published over 20 books in Japanese. They've been translated into 30 languages and offer his philosophy on life from a different perspective. I mean, writing one book is hard work. Try writing 20 books when you have autism. Yep, Higashida has autism and is only able to communicate a few words or phrases verbally. As a child, his parents discovered he could communicate in text with an alpha grid or a keyboard. At the age of 13, he published his first book, The Reason I Jump, where he shares the challenges of his autism and his frustration at his inability to communicate. In 2017, Higashida's Fall Down 7, Get Up 8 was published. The title comes from a Japanese proverb that speaks to never giving up. It means focusing and having the courage to stand up again after being knocked down repeatedly. Now, many other people have succeeded despite having setbacks. The legendary Babe Ruth is one of only 3 baseball players to have hit more than 700 home runs in a baseball career. You know, batting the ball out of the baseball park. Yet at one time, he also held the record for the greatest number of strikeouts at bat. The paradox? With his reputation as the king of home runs came the title of king of strikeouts. Of the immigrants who came to settle in New York City in the early 1900s, some became entrepreneurs while working back-breaking 18-hour days. Their success inspired the songline and the classic hit, New York, New York. If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. Those immigrants embodied the American dream. They worked hard. They used their brain as well as their brawn. They wanted to succeed. They tapped into their potential. In other words, they were tenacious, adaptable, and persistent. Now let's see how Chris, the hero of demigods, aliens, and ordinary people, deals with persistence. Now Chris recognized the connection between effort and reward, but this realization didn't come overnight. It came after many, many years, often at the expense of money. In the early years of competition, Chris admits he lost a lot more than he won. However, as his strength developed at the age of 16, especially at the national level, the balance changed. Chris says you cannot diminish persistence. It's not possible. When Chris did lose, he would analyze what had happened in the race mentally and physically. He'd look at the strategies he used and then document that experience to help him deal with it and move forward. He summed up the Olympics nicely. You trained for 3 years to get ready for a 2-week period at the Olympics in order to get ready for a 1 or 2 minute race. In other words, you train and get ready 99.9% of the time in order to compete and perform for that 0.1% of the time. I mean, who makes that kind of sacrifice? This is a Herculean effort, the stuff of demigods. Now, despite the overwhelming possibility of losing, Chris found motivating quotations and read stories of other athletes who had faced challenges and persevered. To overcome any fear of competing and accept losses as a part of the sport, you have to keep moving forward and learn from those losses. For Chris, losing was a motivator. Now, perhaps as adults, we are reluctant to compete. Maybe it conjures up old memories of doing so when we were kids. We didn't have the wisdom or the hindsight then to realize that losing toughens both the spirit and the soul. I mean, it's pretty hard to know that kind of stuff when you're a kid. We carry memories of sport with us, and most crucially, memories of losing, which explains why some people don't fight for advancement. They don't like competing in a work setting. So there you have it. A Japanese author who has autism and writes a book about never giving up. A baseball legend who also earned the most strikeouts. Early immigrants working 18-hour days to rebuild their lives, and an Olympic athlete who throughout his career lost more times than he won. Now here's my question for you. Instead of looking at setbacks as failures, how will you reframe setbacks as a way to bring you closer to your goal? If you like what you've heard and want to learn more, join me for other videos on my YouTube channel or my website at www.paul-renaud.com, or email me at the address on the screen to book my keynote presentation of demigods, aliens, and ordinary people. Thank you.